welcome everyone. My name is Brenda DeLauder. I'm the Executive Director with the Canadian Spondyloarthritis Association. And I just want to start by saying that spondyloarthritis is more common than rheumatoid arthritis. It often strikes in youth and is the number one cause of inflammatory arthritis globally. And like other diseases, it takes on several forms, including psoriatic arthritis, enteropathic arthritis, axial spondyloarthritis, among others. I want to thank you for joining us for this special patient journey story today. And at the CSA, our mission is to ensure that no one facing spondyloarthritis ever feels alone or unheard. And today we have the incredible opportunity to hear from Sarah, a brave, thoughtful individual who has faced the challenges of axial spondyloarthritis, AXPA, and faced head on. So her journey is one of confusion, persistence, and ultimately resilience. And as we speak with Sarah, I encourage you to reflect on your own journey or that journey of someone that you love and care for. So let this be a space of understanding, empowerment, and hope. And thank you, Sarah, for being with us today.
Of course. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great to have you. So, Sarah, let's start with maybe you can take us back to the very beginning. And what were your first symptoms, and how did they start affecting your day to day life?
So, in around April of 2019, I started experiencing low back pain overnight. It was exclusively overnight. It started kind of mild in the sense that I was able to fall asleep and stay asleep. Like I felt it, but wasn't severe enough to prevent me from sleeping. But it quickly became so debilitating that I would have to get out of bed. I'd have to take 2 or 3 Advil, literally sit on my bathroom floor and just stretch it out for 20 minutes and then go back to bed and cross my fingers that sleep would find me. And like it often didn't at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It came to a point where I was literally just dreading going to sleep at night because I knew no matter how tired I was just not going to get any rest whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. And we hear that a lot from individuals that sleep is a very difficult time, and having good sleep is definitely a source of stress for many. Um, can you explain a little bit about um, how you managed your pain? I've read your story before, and you made mention about blaming your mattress or having other rationale or reasoning behind your suffering.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to jump to conclusions too quickly, especially to scarier ones like a lifelong illness. I think 2019 was a time of change for a lot of people across the world for a lot of reasons. It was also just a bigger time of change in my life because I had just moved out of my parents' place to live with my partner at the time, and we had brought his mattress. So that mattress was new to me. So to me, it was kind of logical, like, oh, like I'm sleeping on a new mattress. Like maybe it's the mattress. Because the first thing you Google when you Google back pain is like, oh, have you considered changing your mattress? So, I kind of thought it away like that. Then when COVID hit, it was work from home, and I was not equipped to work from home. I had a really rinky dinky office chair that I was using all day at that point because I have a desk job. So I was like, oh, like really, maybe it's the office chair as well. Like maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Like I said before, like I just kind of saw like minor ways I could fix it that were more logical to me than jumping to something like axial spondyloarthritis. But at the end of the day, I ended up spending a lot of money to realize I was wrong because I did replace the mattress and I did upgrade the office chair. But lo and behold, my back pain did not go away.
Yeah. Managing the pain is it's a lifelong journey with spondyloarthritis, and I know that you mentioned that you felt that your pain may not have been taken seriously at the beginning. And what was that like emotionally for you?
It was really tough. I think a lot of people, myself included, were already scared of going to the doctor for something that wasn't like a routine checkup or like, oh, I think I have a sinus infection, for something more serious that I didn't know what was going on anymore. It took me a while to actually build up to courage to be like, you know what, I'm going to make that call. I'm going to go to see my doctor. And then when I was dismissed and I was told it was probably my weight because of the pain, I wasn't as active anymore and I gained some weight. Like, oh, or maybe it's because your menstrual cycle isn't regular. It's like at a certain point, it kind of just felt like at that point I was stuck in my own body and that it was just going to torment me forever, like with no help. I felt trapped, honestly. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was terrible being dismissed, but it was even worse feeling trapped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So, what pushed you to finally seek a rheumatologist?
So my partner at the time, he worked in healthcare. He was obviously watching me suffer at night. He would hear me get up and he'd be like, "Oh, is it your back again? Are you okay?" So he was the one who said, "Hey, like maybe you should ask for a rheumatologist. Maybe that's your next step." My doctor at that point had just referred me to a physiotherapist who meant well and was great, but unfortunately, that wasn't solving the root cause of my back pain. What was discouraging was that I had to advocate for that referral to a rheumatologist myself. Had I not had a partner in healthcare who said, "Hey, maybe this is the path you should be going down," I don't even know if I'd be sitting here today because I don't even know if I'd be diagnosed yet because it can be so long to get a diagnosis. Thankfully, my rheumatologist is incredible. She diagnosed me relatively quickly, took me seriously, and just hearing the words like axial spondyloarthritis for the first time was incredible. It was validating, but it was also liberating. Like we hadn't discussed treatment plans yet, but it was liberating to know that it wasn't all in my head and that there was something we could do moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the long wait time. So here in Canada, the average wait time for a diagnosis is 7 to 10 years, which is completely unacceptable. Um, so you met with your rheumatologist and you finally heard the words ankylosing spondyloarthritis. Had you ever heard of it before?
I had not beyond Google search results for back pain because it did start popping up, but it was something that like I read about it in passing, but I was like, oh, that's not me because you never think it's going to be you. But before that, I had never heard of it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned, feeling like this sense of relief, I guess,
Mhm.
um, to finally connect, to have those dots connected between your chronic, fatigue, your
Mhm.
posture, your pain. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, again, the word I just always use is like it was so liberating because these are things that like I've been chastised for. Like in my life, it has happened where people in my family would just like, oh, like yank the shoulders back, like, oh, sit up straight. And or they're like, oh, like you really can't be that tired. I think you're exaggerating. So it was like kind of liberating to be like, you know what? I was actually that tired, and there was a reason for my back being that hunched
Mhm.
over. Being able to connect the dots really made me feel less like an outlier in the world, if that makes sense. Like, and more of a normal human. Like, I might have spondyloarthritis, but I'm also just a normal person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does not define you as
Mhm.
an individual for sure. So I understand that you went through a heartbreaking and very difficult setback with some nerve damage from medication. I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about what that experience was.
That experience was extremely difficult. I would say mentally more so than physically. Like, yeah, like the sensations in my hands and feet was bizarre. It wasn't normal. I had to go get help for it. But my arthritis was just doing so well on the medication I was on. I was on a biologic. It was fantastic. I was virtually pain free. I was able to take up my sports again. Like my life was getting back to normal. And then to hear I had to go to the hospital. I had to go to the ER. They didn't know what was going on with me. Then I finally had to get a spinal puncture. And it was with that my neurologist was able to be like, hey, like, this is a second autoimmune condition. And I think it's actually caused by your medication. So
Mm,
it's like, you take one step forward, two steps back, as they say. It's just, I felt like I had to go back to the beginning because they said the main way to test the hypothesis of if this is actually caused by your medication is to kind of just let's go cold turkey and see if your nerves improve. So
yeah.
I had to completely stop all medications for my arthritis. And then the pain all came back, the fatigue came back, my life started getting a lot more difficult again. So, and even now, like I'm on a different medication, but it's not quite the same. And in my head, I still tell myself, like, oh, would I rather live with the nerve damage or would I rather have my old med back? Like, I truthfully don't know if I could answer that question. So it was really tough. But at the same time, I was just kind of kept the attitude of one day at a time, we're going to get there, we're going to figure it out. It might
Yeah,
be difficult, but we'll get there.
that's such a message of hope and strength and perseverance. And when you're in a situation where you can't feel as though you are your quote old self unquote, how did you come to terms with that shift and that almost sense of loss? I think that you've shared that.
Yeah, I think that's actually something I've really only come to sense with almost in the last 6 or 7 months. And that's, we're talking years after my diagnosis at this point. I feel like you go through the 5 stages of grief, you go through anger, you go through denial, you go through it all. But now I'm more than ever, I'm learning that, like I said before, like, I am a human, I am capable of doing things. I might have to do them differently, I might have to do it a little slower, I might have to do this, but that doesn't mean that I'm less capable, that I'm lesser than anyone else in society. So it's really just going forward in my own journey. Like, I might not be able to lift the heavy plates in the gym as fast as a normal person would, but if as long as I'm showing up for myself and I'm there and I'm going, then that's all I have to do, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Self love, self care, and self advocacy are
Mm-hmm.
key components. So, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about support. I know that you mentioned your partner. How important was having the support to the process and today, and uh, how has it made a difference?
Through the process, obviously, having a spouse that worked in healthcare was really incredible because he was able to help me understand my medications, understand what's happening to me. Like I said, he was the one who said, hey, maybe you should go advocate for a rheumatologist. So without that, we don't know where I'd be today. Since my diagnosis, my family has been great. I actually have a cousin, unfortunately, with also multiple autoimmune diseases. So it's been, for better or for worse, a bonding experience for us in that way. My current partner is like, he just, when I met him, it flipped my world upside down. It changed everything for the better. He's just so supportive, whether that be understanding that, hey, you can come over tonight, but we're literally just going to sit on the couch and do nothing because I'm in pain, or whether that be like, oh, like, yeah, go for a run, like, good for you. Like, he's really perfect in supporting me in what I need in that moment. And I think that's so important too, because if I'm not flaring, what I need from a partner and from my family is going to be very different from when I am flaring, when I'm really going to need to lean on that support system. My friends have also been beyond incredible. My job, I'm so fortunate that through everything, they've been so supportive. They've never given me any issues whatsoever with missing time for an extremely large amount of medical appointments. So
Yeah.
it's just so, so important.
Absolutely. And it's a lot to manage,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And you mentioned flares. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what a flare is from your perspective and how do you manage through a flare?
A flare, from my perspective, is when my inflammation in my body is higher. I instantly notice my pain goes up, but I also, since axial spondyloarthritis is an autoimmune disease, I also get other symptoms. Like, for me, one of my big ones is night sweats. I feel like I have a fever constantly.
Mm,
I'm just completely depleted of all energy. Like, I'm tired on a good day, but this is like another level of, I can sleep 19 hours, wake up for an hour to have a meal, and then just go back to bed for another 14, and it's not an issue. It's really when the activity disease is higher in my body, and it flips life upside down, because one day I'm fine, and then the next it's like, well, whoops, you can't function whatsoever.
mhm. And unpredictable, right? It's
Yes,
just this
100%.
unpredictability around flares that we often hear patients speak about.
Mm-hmm.
So, what have you learned about yourself throughout this journey? Maybe something that you didn't know before or otherwise.
I've learned that I am much stronger than I give myself credit for. I think that's kind of the concept of self strength and self love, is like, you think about it, but not really. But now that I'm like out of more or less out of the nerve issues and like I'm on a new med, we're trying to figure it out. Just like looking back, it's like I did that. Like I got there, I pushed through, I didn't stop advocating for myself. It's
Mm.
I don't know. I just learned that I am really stronger than I gave myself credit for, and I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, you're such an inspiration. And just on that vein, what advice would you give to someone who is newly diagnosed, who is feeling overwhelmed, and what can you share with someone in that position?
Give yourself grace. It is the three words I kept repeating to myself. I kept repeating to friends. I'm like, just give yourself grace. You're going through so much. Like you said before, flares are unpredictable, but your emotions going through it are also unpredictable. It's just give yourself grace in every aspect of your life. If your work is slowing down a little bit, give yourself grace. If you're having trouble like cooking healthy meals for you every day, you don't have the energy, like give yourself grace. You're not as active as you once were, give yourself grace. You're going through something huge, and that alone just takes so much energy, and it's so important to give yourself grace. It's hard when you're in the moment, but if I could give any advice, really like drive it home, give yourself grace.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So let's reflect on the future, and
Mhm.
what gives you hope as for the future, both personally and in the broader world of spondyloarthritis.
On a personal level, I just have so much hope because of my support system. Like I said, my partner just completely, the way he supports me is incredible. My family is incredible. I have hope since now I'm fortunate that I'm in a job where they're very acceptable. Like I have hope that going forward it'll be less taboo. Like for me, it was never like an, oh, should I disclose this to work? Should I not? Like
Mhm.
let's kind of walk around that. For me, that was never an issue. It was straight up like, look, this is what I have. This is what I'm dealing with. And I was met with nothing but grace and compassion. And just overall in the future is like, I think science is just so remarkable. And the pace at which it evolves is also remarkable. So I'm hoping that one day we might have better treatment alternatives, maybe that don't leave us immunocompromised or that are
Mhm.
a little easier on the systems. So I just have hope for the future, just in so many ways, on a personal level and on a scientific one. And I truthfully believe that the more we talk about it, the less taboo this is all going to become. So I also have hope that the people who walk through my shoes in the future will see that it's like it's lonely, but it doesn't have to be as lonely as it
Mhm.
once was.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing those personal insights, and thank you for sharing your story with
Of course.
such honesty and such courage. And you've shown us that through all the pain, through the confusion and the loss, that there is space for growth and for love, and in your words, grace. So, to everyone watching, I hope that you found comfort and inspiration in Sarah's story. And at the CSA, we are truly committed to supporting every individual navigating this condition. Together we can turn understanding into action and into support. And just as we conclude, I'd like to remind you that the CSA offers various resources, including support networks, educational materials, advocacy opportunities, and ways to connect with others facing similar challenges. So please visit our website for more information on how you can access these free resources. And Sarah, please accept our deepest gratitude for being with us today.
And I'm just so thankful to you guys at the CSA for everything that you do. Like you said, the first place you go when you get diagnosed is your website. So it really is an invaluable tool.
Thank you so much.